off.
Hit the mute.
Yep.
Good evening. I'd like to call the village board meeting for the Village of Cary for Tuesday, May 16th, 2017 to order with roll call, please.
McAlpine? Here. Betts? Here. Cosler?
Here.
Kraus?
Here.
Weinheimer?
Here.
Cavelli?
Here.
Thank you. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We now have the public open forum where the public is invited to make an issue-oriented comment on any matter of public concern not otherwise on the agenda. That we had nobody sign in. Is there anybody who'd like to address the village board? That said, we'll go ahead and close open forum. I have one thing on my mayor's report. We have an employee recognition. Mary Ventrella, she's been with our finance department for 5 years. We've got a large check for her.
She ordered herself.
It should be one of those big ones. Yeah, did you? Yeah. Come on up, Mary. Mary's been with the village of Cary for 5 years. I don't remember when you were hired. Yeah, Mary is a stickler when it comes to managing our finances because she's our finance manager. She works with Michael Bouchard, who's our financial consultant. She does a great job keeping us on the straight and narrow, explaining things to the village board in ways that only a finance manager can explain. So thank you very much. We appreciate your 5 years of service. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items number 1 through 8.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
McAlpine?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
Weinheimer?
Yes.
Cavelli?
Yes.
Cosler?
Yes.
Betts? Yes.
I will entertain a motion to approve a resolution authorizing an agreement between the Village of Cary and Verizon Wireless.
So moved.
Second.
Jake, you taking this?
Yeah, yep, thank you, Mayor. This was an item that is probably familiar to some of the existing board members here. We had in February, this proposal was considered by the village board and ultimately it was denied. The village board had asked for some additional information at that time, so it's being brought back here before you. For the new trustees, kind of want to just give you a brief overview of it and allow you to answer any questions or ask any questions that you may have. So again, Verizon is looking to, here in front of you, you can see, replace an existing light pole in the downtown and add some ancillary equipment to the light pole. You can see here in the exhibits that are provided in the upper left-hand, there is an existing light pole here at 77 West Main Street. The proposal's on the upper right, and then the lower elevations illustrate what that equipment would look like. At our previous meeting here in February, the village board wanted, a few village board members wanted some more specific information related to the measurements of the equipment. It's kind of hard to see here. I've got another slide for you, which illustrates the measurements of the equipment, and that's also included in your packet here. The light pole that would be replaced would be approximately 37 feet in height. There would be no antenna equipment visible along the light pole. Everything would be internal, and then there'd be a can on the top where the antenna equipment would be. Adjacent to the light pole, you'll probably see here just to the left is a gray box. That is where ancillary equipment would be housed. It would not be housed on the light pole. The proposal here, in the terms that we've worked out here and negotiated with Verizon, the term of this agreement would be 25 years. The light pole would be at Verizon's cost. An upfront payment would be provided to the Village of Cary, and this would cover years 1 through 5. That'd be approximately $12,000. We'd also receive a capital payment upfront in the amount of $3,500. On the 5th anniversary is when we'd see another payment in the amount of $12,000. And then finally, the 10th anniversary is when we'd see annual payments and annual adjustments at that time. So there's some pros and cons to this. Essentially what we're doing here is we're replacing an outdated light pole. The design with this plan here is to improve the coverage for Verizon within a downtown area, and more specifically adjacent to the Metro train station. And it will provide some additional revenue to the Village of Cary. Items for you to consider: the light pole, and if we go back to the exhibit here, it's going to be a little bit larger than what you currently have. Will people notice that? They may not. A lot of people, when they're walking along and traversing the streets in downtown, you're looking straight ahead and you're not always looking up. Additionally, there's equipment related to the operations of the cell equipment. You can see here in what I mentioned previously, that gray box that's just adjacent to the light pole will also be their housing equipment. So in a summary, village staff is recommending approval of this. We're happy to answer any questions. Director Morimoto has been involved in the process from an engineering standpoint, and he's able to answer any questions too that the board may have.
Any discussion on this?
I just have one quick question. So with it covering 25 years, is there some sort of maintenance involved with that they're agreeing to for upkeep or anything like that?
And is that maintenance related to the light pole? There isn't anything in there that requires them to do maintenance. That would be up to the Village of Cary for any kind of maintenance that's needed on the light pole.
Okay.
Can you go back to that one slide with the gray box? So that's going to be new. What's that material made out of?
It's our understanding that it's a stainless steel controller cabinet, similar to what we have for other street lighting and traffic signal equipment, except that Verizon has agreed to provide it in a black finish matching the pole, as opposed to the standard stainless steel that you would typically see.
Verizon might perform some maintenance from time to time on that box at the very top of the pole and in the steel box that's adjacent to it, but they shouldn't be touching the rest of the pole.
What would a cost be for us to replace an outdated pole if we just had to pull it out of our funds? A rough idea?
It would vary depending on the type of pole. I don't have the numbers in front of me for this particular model pole, but it is a higher end pole, but it is in line with what we would do for the downtown. It's just the street light and a taller version of essentially what we have already. Verizon was asked to provide us a pole that complemented and closely matched the style of our existing the 15-foot acorn style lights that are currently downtown.
Right.
And that's what this model
Okay.
pretty closely replicates. If we were to do other lighting, say along 14 in the future or other parts of the downtown, it would be in line with what I would recommend that we match. So it is a standard type of decorative pole from a major manufacturer. So they're easier to procure.
And the main reason too is that we're having people with Verizon that are not getting service in that area. Is that correct? What was brought up before? We were having some issues with people in the metro?
There's some
When they're
coverage
downtown?
challenges. Yeah.
Okay. Is there I'm just curious, is there anyone here that has Verizon that can attest to whether or not they have some issues downtown? I would love to hear from them.
I have Verizon and I've never had an issue downtown.
Okay.
But the reason for these supplemental antennas that are not the huge monopoles is to enhance the capacity for the data.
Okay.
This is like a add-on site
Okay.
that helps enhance the coverage beyond what the monopoles can do.
Okay, and improve it a bit.
And during peak demand, which
Okay.
essentially when Metro commuters, and you have hundreds of them, I think we have 850 odd boardings a day at that station. When you get that many congregated at one time on the platform, obviously the demand on the cell system is, not being a cell person, but I imagine this type of antenna and system would help address some of maybe the slowdown of the performance what people experience during those peak periods.
I remember the last time that they came before us, a lot of the concern here, the board was really trying to visualize what it would look like. Kind of being concerned, would it be an eyesore? Would it be something that enhanced or did not enhance? So I think that providing some of this to me visually, because at the time we were trying to figure out the two lights, and at least I remember we were trying to go back and forth and say, how would this look? This at least makes it much easier to visualize and see how it would fit in with our downtown. I personally like the way that our other poles are black. It enhances the awning with J.C.'s Cafe. It kind of just goes in with it and takes it up as we're looking down Main Street, some improvements that we're doing. If someone can pay for that for us and us not have to have that expenditure, and in addition, we're going to provide a higher level of service for our commuters, I think that I think that's a win-win for us.
This pole is black. The poles that are currently in the Metro commuter lots are black. Our downtown poles are green.
I know.
However, we are considering some plans, because we maintain those as well, to perhaps repaint them. We have equipment to sandblast in-house, and we could repaint them black
Okay.
to match this as well.
Okay.
I think previously, the two things that were kind of the concerns with the board were the aesthetics of it and then the revenue that we would be generating from this proposal. This definitely takes care of the aesthetics for me. I would just kind of like a little clarification in terms of when we have these other water tower facilities that are hosting these types of equipment, this type of equipment, and they're generating about $43,000 a year for each site. How does this compare to what equipment is on the water towers to what we're getting here in terms of revenue?
This is a much smaller scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
It's not the same kind of antenna.
so with the water towers, they have generally 9 antennas facing in 3 directions. And they also have probably 600 to 1,000 square feet on the ground to hold a full-scale ground
In terms of like the
storage area for their
what
equipment.
they're covering? Oh, down on the ground, okay.
Yeah, so the impact on the property is much more intense where it's a water tower, lease.
And they're serving a greater capacity of their traffic. This is just to supplement and amplify during peak demands in downtown as opposed to carry their major load of traffic.
Would there be any chance down the line of them wanting to put more equipment up on this pole? Because right now it looks fine. I mean, you can't even tell it's an antenna, basically. But would they want to expand it and put more down the line or something, between the top light and the upper?
That would be subject
echelon?
to, obviously, different approvals, a new approval at that point.
Right, but I mean,
Renegotiate.
have they talked about wanting to do that?
Not at this time, no.
Okay.
I don't remember who it was on the board that was asking when they first presented this light pole. Who was the one that wanted the secondary light on there? Is that
I
it?
think that was Rick.
Trustee Duty.
Rick did,
Oh,
yeah.
if it's anybody that's still here, is this what you were looking for?
I like it, though.
This is
I
fine.
like it too.
I don't have I haven't heard any concerns about aesthetics, but I just want to echo what Trustee Kraus was saying. I was originally not happy with the financial arrangement, and I'm still not because they didn't budge on that. And I've never really heard of signing an 11-year lease without any increases. So that's where I'm at with it. That's what I echoed back then when we talked about it. And I'm still, there should be an increase within 11 years and there isn't. So.
Yeah, I understand. And, we went back to Verizon and, this is their proposal here. We looked at the agreement that they have in Hoffman Estates, and that's where we kind of got a comparable from. Here we're getting a new light pole. And we squeezed them for as much as we could, squeeze out of them. We are getting a larger sum up front. There's some negotiation of, how the money's spread apart and, what the increase is going to be. And those are the terms that we landed on here. So I understand your comment, and this is as far as they want to go from a financial perspective.
What's the capital payment for?
That goes into our general fund.
Is there any other discussion on this? Roll call, please.
McAlpine,
Yes,
Kraus,
No.
Cavelli,
Yes.
Cosler,
No.
Betts,
Yes.
Weinheimer.
Yes.
Thank you. Administrators report.
Just had a couple quick items here, Mayor. We are this week still accepting applications for the acting village clerk position, so anyone interested in that can feel free to submit applications to Village Hall. In addition to that, we have our Memorial Day Parade, which is coming up here May 29th, so looking forward to good weather for that. Finally, village board pictures. I've got an individual here that's going to volunteer to, take village board pictures individually in a group shot. Planning on having that being the second meeting in June, which would be June 20th at around 5:30, right before the meeting. Does anyone have any concerns with that right now? I'll send out an email to you as well, just to get any feedback.
Not right now. Yeah.
Okay. That's all I had.
Department head reports. Chief, you have anything for us?
Just a reminder that on May 19th, Friday, from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m., the department will be participating in the Cap on a Rooftop at Dunkin' Donuts to benefit the Illinois Special Olympics. So if anyone's interested, stop by, make a contribution toward Illinois Special Olympics.
Thank you for doing that.
Are you doing a competition again this year? Didn't you do one last year, a competition with Fox River Grove?
I haven't been asked from the Fox River Grove Police Chief. It was kind of a friendly wager between the two of us, so.
I think that was expensive for you last year then too.
Only because I'm honest.
Yeah.
No, it's beyond that. It's, we had a sizable donation from Sage, and if we included that, we would have, we would have collected more. But I excluded it because I thought that wasn't fair. So just the donations on site, they beat us on site, but overall, we collected more.
Yeah, it's a great event and, appreciate your participation in that.
And I didn't mean to reflect poorly on the police chief of Fox River Grove at all. I was just saying that I excluded the $10,000 that Sage.
Friendly
gave us.
competition
You're
is
joking.
good. It's encouraged, Chief. Eric?
Just a few updates for the board. Today, actually, we wrapped up with a contractor bringing over a gigantic tub grinder to help grind the wood chip pile we have out on site into mulch. So they got through, with the limited budget we had, they got through about a third of the pile. So beginning probably the next week or so, we'll start having mulch available for residents to pick up from the Public Works facility. There's limited availability on it, because we do need to utilize a good portion of it for our own village sites, Village Hall, some of the parkways and downtown. But we can anticipate to have that offered up soon. Road program update, our contractor is tentatively hoping to begin some of the concrete removals the next week. So that will be along the road program limits for Georgetown, parts of Cimarron, a section of High Road, and Forest Lane up in Bright Oaks. And then following that, probably in early June, they'll begin the paving work and the asphalt work. And then lastly, you should see it and residents should see it in their June water bills. There'll be an insert with the link for our annual CCR, which is our Consumer Confidence Report that the EPA requires all water systems to publish annually, which basically just gives an idea of the quality and all the testing results that we do on a daily basis and report to the EPA. They're summarized in that report, and it's distributed to the residents. To save money on mailings, we're utilizing the insert in the existing water bill that goes out, and then instead of publishing the paper brochures, which have done in the past, we've gone to an EPA-approved electronic format. So the actual document will be a page on our website that the document will link you to. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks.
Thanks, Eric. Mary, you have anything? Stand for the meeting?
He's got an update for a committee of the whole.
Okay, thank you. Any future agenda items and discussion by the village board?
I'd like to have a discussion at some point on the end use of the Meyer Material property.
Good. Anything else? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Do you want to just go right into it, or do you want a couple minutes? Roll right into it?
Okay.
Okay,
2 minutes.
2 minutes, so he's